Hey guys, hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. Your boy is back with another subreddit video, and today we're diving into the goofy subreddit of r/badwomensanatomy. If you guys are new to this subreddit, this one is full of terrible takes on women's anatomy, and they are oftentimes so funny and cringy to look at. So I'm excited to dive into this with you guys. First off, I do want to say there's going to be a slight warning in terms of a lot of the content having to be blurred for those of you guys that are watching and not so much listening, just because some of the stuff that are on here are NSFW, so I'm going to be very careful with what I show on camera. So that's just going to be a little warning, but I'm going to do my best to show what I can. And if you guys want to see uncensored extended content daily, make sure you guys check out the Patreon. It's going to be the first link in the description box down below. We'll have an uncensored extended video on Bad Women's Anatomy there today. And also, thank you again for all the deluxe members. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoy videos like this, we do it every single day. So make sure you guys stay up to date by hitting the subscribe and the notification bell. We are so close to 11,000 subscribers. It's kind of insane. And I have the goal of hitting 20K by the end of the year. So it would mean the world to me if you guys joined along for this journey. Also, hit the like and comment section down below if you guys enjoy the content. I try to engage with each and every one of you guys. And all right. Bad Women's Anatomy. Let's get it. All right, right off rip, I'm going to go ahead and blur just in case. All right, I think I can unblur this one. The title of this one says, "Women having body hair is just gross," which is so silly. If for those of you guys that don't know, like the guys out there especially, everybody has hair. Well, except me. That's like, I actually do have a surprisingly low amount of body hair, which is like insane. Like when I go to tattoo artists, they don't have to shave me at all. They're just like, oh, well, here you go. I have like, it's like patchy in weird spots, but women are human beings. Men are human beings. Humans tend to have body hair. Yeah, some genetics more over others, but overall, people are going to have body hair. So this post is regarding someone who posted on Reddit saying, "Bruh, body hair." And they got like a bunch of downvotes. You don't have any? But I'm a man. Women having body hair is just gross. Don't say like, "Oh, so you're gay?" Or women don't have to change to your standards. Or simply, it's natural. It's a drawing. Okay, so this, I'm guessing, is referring to a picture that was posted on Facebook. Or not Facebook, Reddit. "You can't really attack me when majority of men has this take and you don't see a lot of women wanting visible body hair. I'm not going to force anyone to agree with me. It's simply my preference and an opinion. And I hope you respect mine. Whenever I see this in art, it's usually done by those type of people who would redesign a character to make them darker and fat or something." What? That last part was just kind of like out of nowhere. Okay, so like I get what he's saying in a sense that he doesn't prefer women with body hair. Nothing wrong with that. Now, why do you have to chime in if someone wants to make a hyper-realistic drawing? Because the reality of it is a lot of women have body hair. And I think it's amazing that they like have such great upkeep, because a lot of women that I've been with won't have body hair whenever I'm like with them. But then like, you know, that's because they shave, they wax. And oh God, if you are a dude and you really want to know what a girl goes through or what a woman goes through, try shaving your legs. I do that personally because my legs are kind of patchy. So like during summer, I do shave my legs. I've waxed before just because my sister owns a waxing studio and it's free. So I tried it out and oh my God, you guys go through so much pain to look pretty. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of just pointing out the fact that because men overall do prefer women with body hair, without body hair, women tend to have to keep up with that. And yeah, this is just kind of a silly post because, I mean, it's a drawing. Why are you chiming in about this? And he's getting kind of like really into it too. He's like, "Oh, don't even say that it's natural and women don't have to change to your standards." I mean, in theory, you guys don't have to change to my standards. But also, you can't, in both sides, this guy can't force women to do anything, right? Like in terms of like their body hair and stuff. But at the same time, women can't really like make this guy like them for that. But there's going to be people out there that don't care and do care. You know, it is what it is, but that's just a silly post. Oh, we have some extra info. Dude later called the drawing unappealing, then got offended when I said, "Let me call you unappealing and gross and see if you find it polite," because suddenly it was rude. Now he insisted that hair on women has always been seen as unattractive. That's subjective. I mean, I don't like a lot of hair, but if it's like a little bit, I don't really care. Even though I already mentioned wasn't until razor companies tried to sell them to women after World War II that it started. That's kind of good. I could see that. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of natural for most people to have like arm hair and stuff like that. Like that's just totally plain. Obviously, if it's like out of control, even for a guy though, that's something for me personally. I don't find body hair attractive on men either. So like, I mean, I'm straight, but like in terms of like looking at a dude and I see a bunch of body hair, I'm like, but that's just personal preference. Edit. Of course, now he's going, it's not that deep. It was just a joke. And some people are even more rude. I mean, yeah, don't dish it if you can't take it, bud. Proof that he's never been close to a woman. I appreciate razors for my face. And when the wife lets me spoil her and shave her legs as to not rip tights or leggings. But like hair is everywhere. We're mammals. Curse the disposable razor with all its existence. Yeah, I will say the whole like, God, you guys can go into all these conspiracies in regards of like big razor or like any big company in general that in a capitalistic state is going to like push for them to make more money. So like that's the whole thing about disposable razors. Yeah. That's a whole nother wormhole we can get into. I'm not super, super, super fond of them. And one last thing I'm going to note, it's crazy that I don't know if you guys have ever, I've used women's razors before because my like ex-girlfriend was there and it was like the only thing and she was cool with it. So men's razors are like just so much more efficient. I don't know. Maybe that's just my take. It's kind of like the whole like deodorant thing. Like men's deodorant just is better. Like I know a lot of women that use men's deodorant, which is like so fire. But like, why can't it just be unisex? Oh, it's so goofy. All right, so I'm going to be very careful reading this one. I think I can uncensor it. Yeah, I feel like these are scientific terms. So YouTube, I swear, if you guys do anything, this is scientific. All right, this one says women can feel it is the subject. And this is under Misconceptions, miseducation. So warning as it is. When I ran some errands today, I overheard two boys, 14 to 16 maybe, I'm not good with age guessing, on the street. One was talking about how women can feel when they get pregnant. I mean, kid's 14, give him a break. He's got no clue life in general. I remember when I was 14, I had no clue anything about women, but this is funny already. And at first I thought he meant morning sickness or something. Oh, that's valid actually. But then he continued and claimed that women could feel when the male sperm cell goes into the egg, which is like, what? No, that's not how it works, buddy. Oh, that's so funny. Fortunately, his buddy was having none of it and asked him several times if he was dumb and where he got that from. Yeah, fact searching. But the first one was just like, trust me, bro. And going on about that, they feel a little pinch in the uterus and how they might not know what that pinch is yet, but they feel it. The fact that this kid is talking out of his ass at 14 about women, and he's a guy too, that is just so funny to me. Yeah, but like when you're a kid, dude, you will say anything, man. You'll say anything just to entertain. You're bored, and you're just like, hey, you know what? The sky sometimes is rains with meatballs, and that's probably how that movie was made. And then they went too far for me to hear more of the conversation. I didn't know if I wanted to laugh or cry about that. Definitely laugh. Edit. Thanks to you, I learned that some people can feel ovulation or implantation. Either he got that confused or he really was watching, I gotta blur that, too much cartoons that are bad. Why is it always pain, a pinch? Dang, I gotta blur all of this. Why is it always a pain, a pinch? Can't I, boom, when the sperm meets the egg? I want my baby born from a good feeling. LMAO. No, it's always a pain. Yeah, I actually didn't know that about the ovulation, some people can feel it. That's interesting. See, I learn things in these videos sometimes, even though I don't retain like half of them. Oh, this one's funny. I can definitely uncensor this. Don't they stop at 18? Question mark is the title. And this is referring to what looks like a TikTok in regards of like menstrual cycles, maybe. And it says day 1 hurts so badly, lots of cramps, cravings, mood swings, which is all things that, are common from my knowledge, as much as a guy can say. And then someone in the comments of TikTok said, don't they stop at 18? Someone else goes, no, crying face. They don't stop. And then, yes, they do. Not the second person going and doubling down. That's so silly. I bet you a lot of women would want that to be the case. Like they just stop. But no, I mean, it goes on and on until, doesn't it go on and on until menopause? Let's go into like Cleveland Clinic or something, since Google AI isn't the most reliable. You guys keep reiterating that, which I knew, guys. I'm lazy to do all the research, but oh, wow. Okay, so at least in terms of the transition process, you do feel irregular ones. Whoa, this sounds like not fun. I gotta blur some of this. So you can feel some, but it says can, so it's like not 100%. Interesting. Okay, so didn't know that. All right, move on. I think I can uncensor this. I mean, YouTube, come on. Like this is scientific terms. All right, so the subject says smelling when someone is ovulating. What? Many moons ago, I got a pap smear. The guy was a man. I always thought about that. I was like, is it weirder to get a guy or girl, or does it not matter? Because like I know, like as a guy, when I get a nurse or a doctor that does stuff with my, area. Actually, I don't mind either. It's just I've had both, so I don't think there's really a big difference. Okay, anyways, so the guy was a man, and he got down there and said something like, "Whew, you can smell the estrogen. You must be ovulating." What? I didn't care if that was meant to be a joke or what. After the fact, I didn't really think too hard about it. Now I'm trying to have a baby, so I'm paying attention to my cycle pretty closely. And what that doctor said popped into my brain. So was he making a weird, gross joke, or was he serious? Oh, I'm laughing, but I actually don't know. So I don't know why I'm laughing. It just sounds goofy to me. But let's actually find out. I have no clue if that's a thing or not. I don't know if he can or not, but I find that gross that he said that. I've never been so self-conscious and uncomfortable. Yeah, I was laughing more at that. Like, oh my God, you can smell the, like, that's crazy. I just know that when I'm close to ovulating, when I feel or find the cervical mucus that occurs like 3 or 4 days before ovulation, even on birth control, it still happens/forms. It's such a weird feeling when it's getting out. Wait, so what's the answer? I don't know if you can smell it, but that is a really weird thing for a doctor to say when you're in a vulnerable position. I can't smell it on other people, but I can smell it on myself. What? The discharge is thicker as expected, but also has a sweeter smell. What the hell? That's crazy. Our bodies are wild, guys. And by our, I mean y'all's. But like human bodies in general are just so interesting. All right, I'm definitely gonna have to keep this one censored. The subject of this one says Gyno's comment. Recently, I went in to have an IUD replaced. Sure, wasn't a fun procedure. Yeah, that's a wild one to me. I totally get the purpose, because you don't want, to be pregnant. And I always, whenever I meet a girl or I'm like involved with a woman that it has one, I'm like, shout out to you, because I know that can be a pain. But for some people, it's worth it, because then you don't have to worry as much. But afterwards, the doctor was talking to me and said, "Sorry that took longer than usual. Your shape is so unique." Brother, what? Was this a dude or a girl doctor? I'm sure you know this, but your area, or V, is really narrow, especially near your cervix. Okay. What the fuck? I guess I was somewhat aware. Most people with a, sausage I've had cuddles with have mentioned me being really, narrow. But I didn't think it was a shape thing. I'm bi, and I don't really notice the shape of privates. I didn't know that there were such a range. Can people feel the difference? Oh, I can actually chime in on this. To add, I delivered my kiddo naturally, but it was complicated during the last 10 minutes of pushing, and they had to go in and cut the cord early. Is it a shape issue? Truly never thought about it till now. Okay, I cannot chime in for the pregnancy thing. I have no clue anything about that. But in terms of can people feel the difference? Yes. It's not as vast as some people might think. although, I mean, how do I describe this? It's kind of like a bell curve, right? I would say it's like a bell curve. And this is just from a guy's perspective in terms of like, cuddling. Majority of women will probably lie in that bell curve, like the top of the bell curve where it kind of feels very similar. But there's always the outliers, right? So in that bell curve, there are a few people that it does feel more, how do I say this? Domain expansion, and then the other side too, I have very few times, but it's been like very narrow. And like even one time, and she did, that woman preference things and let me know ahead of time that she had like, I don't know if it was a condition, but it was something where it was much more, and it was going to take a lot longer in terms of foreplay and stuff like that. So yeah, so it varies widely, but majority, I will say, are in that middle bell curve where it just like skews slightly. If you take the average woman, it's going to be hard to tell the difference between another. But can you tell the difference? Possibly, is what I'm saying. All right, let's get back to this. Comments say, it's just like male privates. There's natural human variation in size and shape, and it's just harder to tell versus, guys' privates. Yeah, I can agree with that because guys' privates are just so visible. And also, like, I mean, Actually, I'm also going to chime in and say, based on my experience, and this is just like an education kind of thing, the inside of them can feel different too. Not so much to a male body part, in my opinion, but like hands and fingers, it kind of does feel a little bit. The inside, the ridges and stuff. This is weird. This is weird to talk about, but hey, this is just I'm chiming in with my experiences. Hopefully that gives someone a perspective. But who knows? I'm an idiot. So, all right, let's read another one. I am pretty sure I can say this on YouTube. Self-report. I'm scared to put in a tampon, but I think I may have my anatomy wrong. I've only used pads, but I'm worried about having to use tamps for swimming because I'm worried about the tamps getting lost in my body or putting it in the wrong hole. Let's read the comments because I have no clue how to chime in on this because I'm a dude. I'm blurring it just in case. They physically can't get lost in your body, but you can't insert in the urethra. It's just too small for the first time use. I suggest ones with a plastic applicator. There's plastic applicators? What? They go in a little easier. Oh, wow. Dude, what? This is so crazy when you learn about like another group that you have that you aren't, because there's just so much stuff that I have no clue about. That's nuts. As for one, that's what the string is for. You cannot lose a tamp with the string, and that thing can withstand a lot of yank. 2, there is only one other area you can put it in, and that's your buttocks. I promise you that you will know if you're trying to insert something in there. That's funny. Okay, cool. Interesting. Hey, give it to Reddit to give some knowledge, huh? Even though half the time Reddit is not good at knowledge. All right, I'm gonna keep this one blurred just in case. Yep. So the title of this one, subject says, apparently women's, melons become smaller when guys use too much pressure. Oh my God. What? Dude. What in the world? Okay, so this is a text exchange, and someone says they look so ample despite 50 plus dudes. What? What are you talking about? Are you telling a woman on a dating app or whatever that something looks ample? Brother, what kind of riz are you on? And then OP, or the woman in this, responds, despite ? What the F does that even mean in this context? Yeah, like despite 50 plus, dude, like what an assumption. You think having cuddling sessions changes your melons? Yeah, this guy is an idiot. And then he responds to that saying, some string guys use too much pressure, I have heard. What? You have heard from who? Dudes must be listening to some weird ass conspiracy podcast. Like my friend said he pressed hard on my sister's melons, who is his girlfriend. First off, why did you word it like that? Why didn't you just say, my friend who's dating my sister said that he okay. Anyways, And I thought she had changed a bit. No, dude, that's not how it works. It's not. That is just so silly. So if you so that in that logic, right? If you were to squeeze, the guys thing, it could change forever. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Brother, I don't even, this guy is so dumb. This is what I'm talking about. This is why Bad Women's Anatomy is awesome, because you see some stupid ass shit like this. What in the world are you even talking about, brother? Man, once again, why does it only change when a guy does it? Like, people never touch their own. I don't believe in that. Yeah, that's so stupid, dude. Apparently, we're all collectively lying is the title of this. And this is from How Girls Work. Okay, so very similar sub that we also explore on this channel. But we have a woman on Twitter/X that tweeted out, "This is your daily reminder that most women require," damn, how can I say that without getting demonetized? The part above the area for the women, God, I don't even know how to display it. The sweet spot, the little sweet spot it starts with a C. Women require C stimulation in order to have a good time. Okay, I'll just say that. The act of cuddling can still feel good, but it won't satisfy us in the same way. That is why the C exists for a reason. Treat it well. I'm gonna chime in from my knowledge in a little bit, but let's continue. So then we go into the comments of this Twitter, and then someone says source. No, they don't. Someone else says no, they don't, and then another person says nope, my wife doesn't. And then another one says, tell that to the 14 women that I have cuddled with. Then another one says, so you're telling me that women evolved to not be able to have fun from the one kind of cuddling that seems to procreate? I call BS. There's no way humans would have survived with such a major barrier preventing new generations from being born. Someone said, C simulation is cuddling. Are you high? And then the next person says, do you not, they spelled not with a K, K-N-O-T. That's insane. Do you not know, dude, this guy cannot spell. Do you not know that you can use a male part to stimulate the C? And then someone said, source, trust me, ladies, girl, am I right? Foo, I'm a stupid female. What? Another person said, did you even go to college? Another one said, you're an idiot. What? I'm so confused. Okay, there's so much to dive into this. Before I say anything, I am not an expert, and by any means, this is just from my experience and talking to people, so don't take it as it will. First off, I'm going to chime in on what the original post was, saying that all women require that. I don't think that's actually true. She said most. Okay, actually, I could go along with that because probably a slight majority of women do require some form of, up there. From my experience, I have no clue, but there are a small select few that can from just cuddling, and then also some that it's nearly impossible for them to, or they could have just been with me in that situation, which is completely fine as well. So I don't know, it just varies. Like our bodies, their bodies, everybody's bodies just varies so much, But the comments are goofy. I mean, the fact that these people are saying, these guys specifically are saying, oh, nope, impossible, because all the women I have been with is nope. And I'm like, how do you know, dude? You're not a girl. They're on that Beyonce. They need to go through that Beyonce experience where it's like, if I were a boy, and then just swap spots for a day or two. That's a deep cut. All right, last one we're gonna explore before we get into the Patreon exclusive, where I, thank God, do not have to blur and censor myself. This one says bigger melons produce more milk. So who thought this guy anatomy? Someone posted, and it looks like a Reddit comment or a X comment. Honestly, it's probably deeper than that. Bigger melons may produce more milk, so it may be coded in our brains. That's definitely not how it works. I don't even need to research. That's just not how it works. Whoa, this one is, okay, I'm going to read this. Someone commented on this saying, mildly interesting. Of all the great apes, only humans and bonobos tend to have prominent melons in adult females, while all other apes such as gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, the females do not have prominent melons. And during periods where when they are nursing, they're, only enlarged slightly, especially the nips, going back to normal as the infant weans. Breast size has absolutely no relation with milk production. Yeah, I figured as much. Bonobos and humans are also the only great apes known to commonly have cuddling for fun or as a form of social bonding rather than merely just creating procreation. For example, female common chimpanzees, our closest relatives, will mostly never or almost never have cuddling outside of ovulation. A chimpanzee's menstrual cycle is about 36 days long on average. What? That sucks. Is that true? If that's true, by the way, this is just off a Reddit comment, so don't take it for what it is. Do your own research if you don't think this. But if that is true, that's crazy. They only have cuddling for a day of this, so yeah, okay. Human cuddling activities, on the other hand, is not restricted to such a small window of time in the woman's cycle, nor is it dictated solely by whether or not an ovum is potentially able to be fertilized. Scientists are still unsure as to why is it that only adult human and bonobos females have, larger melons at all times, unlike other great apes. But it seems they very likely to be related to the fact that we are two of the most active of all apes, and certainly, cuddlingly active. The only apes to have cuddles primarily for pleasure rather than reproduction. The size of human and bonobos melons is unrelated to milk production or infant feeding. Such other apes are smaller, with smaller, areas, do just as well as us, and instead seems more related to cuddling for social and not reproductive reasonings. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But what do I know? Anyways, yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much, everybody. Also, wish my cats happy birthday. My cats just turned 3 today. They aren't here, sadly, because they're outside in their little outdoor play cage. And yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. If you are a Patreon member, I'll see you guys there. We're going to do some extended content for at least like 10 minutes out there, uncensored. So catch you guys in the next one. Bye.